Email is time consuming. We have to think, we have to type, and we have to send to the customer. And in the business world, lots of emails are written each day. So we want to find some way to automate it. In today's tutorial, I'm going to share with you how you can use FileMaker so that you can take data from a database and customize and automate email. We'll be using combination scripts like sendMail, if-else, and setVariable to customize your email and sending it using FileMaker. So stay tuned. What's up everybody, this is Sunny from FM Beginner. Welcome to another FileMaker beginner tutorial. This channel is all about creating beginner-friendly FileMaker tutorials so that you can start automating your business and saving time and money. Today we are going to learn how to construct custom email in FileMaker. Let me introduce you to this database here. This is a very simple contact database with first name, last name, gender, email, and the food that the person likes. Now the goal with this database is that we want to construct a custom email that sends to each of these persons and then lure them by mentioning their favorite food will be inside the party. So we want to lure them to our party with food. Sounds effective, right? So the first thing we want to do is that we want to create a button on the right side of each of these contacts so that we can press on that button and send them an email. So we are going to go to View, Layout Mode, and then start adding a button to it. So I am going to push this back a little bit to make some space, and I'm going to drag down and create a button here. So I'm going to drag a little square box here and pick a very simple mailing icon, which is native in all the FileMaker softwares. And I have a button here, so I'm going to move this a little bit. Now that I have a button in place, I want to create a script that this button can trigger. So I'm going to click on script on the top here, click on script workspace, and then I am going to create a new script. With this dialog here, I'm going to press on this add sign, create a new script, and just name it the email script. The script step that we're looking for, it's called sendMail. You can find it by going to the right side here under miscellaneous, find sendMail, or you can just start typing in sendmail and it will automatically be able to find this particular script step. I'm going to save this by clicking Command S or Control S in Windows, or you can click on here and then there's a save script buttons in here. So I'm just going to quickly test out what's going to happen with this. The next step, I'm going to apply this script to the button. So I'm going to go back to my layout and then click onto the button, double click it, and we're going to click on action and perform script. We are going to choose the script that we just created. So email script, double click onto it. And before we dive in further, I would like to show you what this script will do by itself without any modifications. So I am going to go to View, go back to Browse mode. I'm just going to quickly press on this button here. The script step that we just created, the sendMail script, what it does is that it will call for the default mailing app inside your computer. For example, in the Mac, I'm using the mailing app right here. So it calls for that app and then automatically create a new mail, and then you can customize different items such as to, the CC, subject line, or the mailing data here. For Windows user, you will most likely be using a Microsoft Outlook Express or something like that. So when you click onto it, it should be able to pop up your Outlook client into this page here. And so that's basically what that script step does. And the next thing we want to do, and obviously there's no point in creating a new mail without anything written on it. That's not automation. So what we're going to do next is that we are going to apply some default text in here. So I already prepared a very simple text here. I'm just going to copy and paste it here for you to have a look. Now I'm just going to quickly go through the structure of this text. So dear Mr. or Mrs. something. So we want the last name to be on this area. Hello, how are you? Just want to let you know we have your favorite fruit something in our upcoming party. So come and join us next Saturday. Regards, Sunny. This is our basic script of the email. And in the later part of this tutorial, we are going to go over how to fill in the blanks with the data in our database. But first, let's see how we can apply this default text into our mail. So I'm just going to quickly close this. Don't save. And then I'm going to go back to FileMaker, go to Script, and Script Workspace, open this dialog again. Click onto this setting icon here. And the next thing we are going to do, we are going to start customizing different stuff. So this should be pretty self-explanatory, but I would just quickly go through how this works with you. So if I start to type in a sunnychu@sunnychu.com in the to, and then I want to type in the subject line as a hey, join my party. And then I am going to copy and paste the text that I have just now and paste it into this area here. And we're going to click on OK. And we're going to save this by clicking Script, Save Script. We're just going to quickly try out the script again to see what's the difference. We're going to click on the mail button here in the browse mode. And now you can see that in the to, it has automatically populated the email that I want to send this to. It has the subject line that I specify and also the text in here. So we're off to a good start. The next thing that we want to do is that, so when I press on John, I want to send to John but not send to me. Currently, if I open my script, double click onto it, it's always going to be sending to sunnychu@sunnychu.com, which is not exactly what we want. So how do we make this change depending on the record that we have? So we are going to click on the right side here, and we're going to specify field names. So what that does is that, so instead of using a fixed text, you can choose the value from a field. So I'm just going to click on email here, press OK, and we are going to save this and quickly test this again. So the email field in this record is john@fmbeginner.com. I'm going to click onto the send button, and now it has automatically placed a new mail and placed john@fmbeginner as the send to person. So that's the first step. The next step we want to do is that we want to place in the person's name in this first underline area here. How do we do that? Now this is going to get a little bit more complicated, because for people with programming experience it might make more sense, but for those who are new, you might want to be paying more attention to this part. So if I click onto the icon here, so once we open this send mail option again, we want to play with the message this time. So we are going to click onto message here, and then we're going to click on specify calculation in this part. So I'm just going to remove everything for now so that you can understand better. In this part of the tutorial, I'm going to teach you something about how to manipulate text in FileMaker. There are two types of text. Now the first type is let's call it a static text, so it doesn't change. So for example, in our example here, for every person, I'm always going to have a hello, how are you? That's the static text here. So it doesn't need to be changed depending on different data. So for these type of text, we use a quote on the left and the right side to tell FileMaker that it is what we exactly what we want in here. So if we click OK now, click OK, and just quickly test the script. We click on the script now, we will have exactly hello, how are you in here. And you'll notice that the quote doesn't exist, because that quote is used to indicate to a FileMaker that I want this exact text to be in this place. So somewhere along the line, you might want to add something like hello spacebar, and then let's say we have John, then we have John like this. And the name in here will change depending on the records that you are in. So this is what we call a variable. So if we go back to the script now, and let's just go back to FileMaker and go to the script workspace. Let's say we want to add, we go back to specify calculation. Let's say we just want to add a John in between this here. We want to insert a variable. So to insert a variable, well, let's not add it in between. We want to add it on the end of this hello, how are you, question mark, and then John. So to add a variable, we want to specify to FileMaker that we want something else. We want to and. We want to place an and here so that it knows that I want this text here and a variable. So let's double click on first name in our table. We're going to click OK. OK again, just to quickly test out the email script. Save this and let's try it again. So we're going to click on John again, and then you will notice that hello, how are you, question mark, and then John. You will notice the quote and also the and does not show up in this part. That's because those are being used as like a command for FileMaker instead of an actual character. So if we want to add John in between hello and how are you, we will need to adjust our method a little bit. We're going to go back to the script step now, and let's go to script again, go back this place, click on calculation. Originally, we have two chunks of data. So we have the first chunk, hello, how are you, like this. And the second chunk is the variable. So if we want to place this variable in between the text, we need to have three chunks instead. So I'm just going to quickly remove this part. And then I'm going to split this into two chunks by creating two quotes in between them. So I'm just going to create some space in here. So now I have two sets of text. So hello, and the other set is comma, how are you. So I want to, in between these two, I want to add an and in here and an and in here. And in between the area, I want to place my variable, which is my first name. Hello, first name, comma, how are you. We also want a spacebar after hello so that when it comes out, it doesn't stick together. We press OK. Press OK again. Save this and click. And I'm just going to quickly try again. So this time I'm going to try Jenny. So I'm going to click on this record. And you will realize that now it has combined my text into hello, Jenny, how are you. That's how we merge different text together with the variable in FileMaker. So the next step, I'm just going to quickly copy this original text that we have, and then we are going to go back to we're just going to quickly close this and go back to the script. Double click onto this, and we want to click onto specify calculations. And now we have pasted our original text back to here. We're going to go to specify calculation again, and you will notice something really strange. So we have these little carriage return mark in here. So what does those mean? It's basically an enter. So because FileMaker, inside the calculation, they don't detect the enters that we click in here like this. They detect that they instead detect a carriage return. So this means a to enter. So something like this, enter, and these are to enter, and these are to enter, and one more. So it will look something like this for the computer. This is how we communicate to them. We want the enter to be in place. So we are first going to add the person's first name in here. Now just now I have showed you how to place a variable in between two texts. So in here we have a one full big text, but the mechanics is essentially the same. We want to split this into two halves first. So we are going to add a quote here, and then we are going to add another quote here. So that right now we have two sets of text in place. Dear Mr. or Mrs. and then the second part, hello, how are you, all the way down to regards, Sunny. And so we want to paste in the first name, or actually we want to paste in the last name here because it's Mr. or Mrs. So we're going to replace this underline with a variable and last name like this. And don't forget to add in the and the and on the left side, because that's how you can combine variables and actual text together. So it might look a little bit complicated, but it's actually three parts to this text we have right now. The first part here, second part is the variable, and the third part is the other text in here. We're going to click OK now. Click OK again. Quickly test it, and then let's try Tiffany. Click. And then Tiffany's last name is McCliff. So dear Mr./Miss McCliff, how are you? So we are now one step closer to where we want to be. And the next step, we want to change the text in the favorite food so that we can lure the person to come to our party. So how do we do that? So similarly, we want to go to script. And this time I want to try something different because it sets me up for another additional part. So now the first step is called send mail, but this time I want to try to use a variable. So I'm going to move this to step 2. And in step 1, I want to use a script called set variable. You can find it in, I believe, control, set variable here, or you can just start typing set variable in this dialog and it will still work. And we want to create a new variable to store our data that's called food. So we want to add a $sign to let the computer know is a variable, and then call it food for the name. So whenever we call $sign food, it will automatically replace that part with the value that we are going to enter now. And we are going to click on value and then specify. We are going to click on last name because and we are going to click on favorite food and click OK. Click OK again. Currently we have two steps in this script. The first step, we are going to save the food information into this variable here using the set variable script step. We're going to go to the next step to send mail, and we're going to apply that variable into our message. Click on here, click on calculation, and then we want to apply the food information in this part here. Like I've just mentioned, we have 3 sections in this script, and now we want to split it into 4. So we want to add another quote here so that these two join together. Add another quote here so that these parts are now another section. And we opened up a space in between here. So I'm going to quickly create 2 and then I'm going to paste in between the 2 and the food that we just set as the variable, because we just saved the $sign food as the variable for the food for the customer. So this is how we apply that variable back into the text that we created. So click OK again, and try this now. So, and if we click here, you will now notice fish and chips is now staying within email in here. That's the first part. Now, the reason why I want to use a variable, because I want to show you a little bit more about how to manipulate text. So if we click on script again, we're going to do something with the first step. So instead of just saving the food, we want to add a little bit more emotion to it, and we want to turn that into like a big capital letter fish and chips. So to do that, we are going to use a function called upper. So upper, open quote, close quote. We are going to move this inside the quote. So what this function does is that anything that plays inside it will turn into a full capped version. So we click on OK again, click OK. Now what happened with our script is that first step, we are going to save the person's food and then turn it into a full uppercase text. Second step, we are going to send the mail like we just formatted the text. I'm just going to quickly try that again. And you will realize this time we have now constructed a much better text here. So fish and chips. So this is really good. It's more like emotional, hyper, and like, okay, I'm exaggerating, but I need some reason to show you how this works. So yep. And now we have a capital fish and chips. And now the last step we want to do with this is that here is a Mr. or Mrs., which is not exactly what we want. Well, obviously we only want one of them for each person, but how do we make it so that it automatically detects the person's gender and then switch it to this thing here? So we are first going to close this. Don't save. Close these. Don't save. Don't save and go back to the script workspace. Click onto the FileMaker, click script, and then click workspace. And this time we are going to use another set variable. So I'm going to create a set variable and then create a $ title. So this is where we place the Mr. and Mrs. into. Click OK. And I want to show you a little quick step that you can use to define condition. Like in our case, if their gender is M, we want it to show Mr. If their gender is F, we want it to show MS, so Miss. Let's just ignore the Mrs. Issues for now. And okay, we are going to go back to the script, and this time I'm going to use a step called if. Click onto if, and then what happened is that, so I can set the condition in this part here. I'm going to click on this, click on the fx. That's where we go to another calculation. So I want to set the condition so that if the gender equals to M, then we do something with the title. Then we also want to set else if. So we're going to set again else if the gender equals to F, we're going to do something else. So I am going to now do, if the gender is M, then the title will be quote quote Mr. and spacebar, or maybe a dot. That makes it a little more professional. And we're going to copy that, paste it on the second part like this, and click again. And if this time else if the gender equals F, then we do something else. So we could do MS. Click OK. And so in this part here, we have saved the $ title. So now the next step is that we want to apply this title into the mail. So like we did just now, we want to split the text again once more. So we're just going to quickly delete this part. And we are going to add the variable that we created just now. So we want the second variable, which is the $ title, to be here. So right now my text structure is that dear is the first part, title is the second part, and the last name is the third part. And then this whole text here until food is the fourth part, the fifth part, and the sixth part. So this is how the email is now constructed. I'm going to click OK. Click OK again and save this script and save script, and then I am going to try it. So now it's the big moment. So we're gonna choose me and my favorite fruit, apple pie, which is fictional. It's not, but click on the email. So it sends mail to sunny@fmbeginner.com. Hey, join my party as the subject. Dear Mr. Chu, comma. Hello, how are you? Just want to let you know we have your favorite fruit, apple pie, in our upcoming party. So come and join us next Saturday. Regards, Sunny, which is myself. So we are able to make the Mr. properly, and let's try it on some female records. And go to female record. Let's try Jenny with a cheesecake. Jenny Lauren with cheesecake. Click on this. And hi, dear Miss Lauren. Hello, how are you? Cheesecake. Upcoming party. So join us next Saturday. So there you have it. A very simple emailing app that allowed you to customize text into email that you can send easily. There are a lot of use cases for these features. You can send a welcome letter to your customer or send them some sort of a standard instruction. Well, for me personally, I use it to send those sweet invoice email to my clients so that they remember to pay me. And each time I'm sending these invoice, I don't have to type in anything. I just click a button, it's already automatically formatted in the way I want it. So that's the power of using this feature. And if you're new to this channel is all about creating FileMaker beginner-friendly tutorials so that you can start applying automations to your business. We will be posting every Friday, so remember to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. That's it for this tutorial. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.